Our next chakra is our second chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. And this chakra is exploring our creativity, our fluidity, and our sexuality. So building up from our root chakra, we have the stability, the groundedness. Many people equate it to a container in which to put our liquid of the second chakra. So our element is water, and this is all about finding pleasure in things. If someone has an imbalance here, an imbalance towards the lesser side, it's having guilt for doing things for yourself, or having guilt in your sexuality, or guilt or kind of insecurity around your creativity. If you have an overstimulation of this chakra, maybe you are super sexual and you get into relationships that aren't healthy or beneficial, or you don't have that connection to your root chakra anymore. You're just too fluid and all over the place, and you are forgetting about taking care of yourself and your basic needs. So this chakra is all about kind of self-care in the emotional sense. So if our self-care in the root chakra has to do with taking care of our physical needs, this has to do with our emotional needs. The color of this chakra is orange. In this full-length practice, we're going to be taking that structure that we worked with the other day and starting to add in that fluidity. So still being connected to our roots, but exploring the movement of this chakra. So we're going to start sitting on our mat today. And I want you to move until you're comfortable. So you want to make sure that you're right balanced between your sits bones and tailbone. Nice and comfortable here. You might have to move some stuff around to feel comfortable. And then you're going to be leaning back just slightly so that your spine is fully aligned here. So it feels like we're leaning back, but we're actually straight up this way. And then allow the eyes to close. Just check in with where you are today. Noticing how you feel. Not trying to change anything, just accepting whatever comes up. Today we're exploring the second chakra, which is all about accepting our feelings and kind of taking care of the emotional, mental health. Notice any areas where you might be holding tension. And as you exhale, try to release those areas. You can inhale in through the nose or mouth. Just starting to increase the length of the inhale and exhale. Sending the breath through the body. Imagining it moving all the way down through the legs and up through the head. So when we explored the first chakra, it was all about being grounded. And now it's about taking that physical health and combining it with the mental and emotional health. So really noticing today as we move through things, how you feel doing those movements. So is it something that feels energizing or relaxing? How is it making you feel, not just in your body, but the emotions behind it? We're going to start moving here in a circle. So we're moving from the navel, keeping the sits bones on the mat. So grounded here, and then fluid in the upper body. So moving with the breath. And then switch directions. So really drawing the attention to how these movements make you feel. So if this feels fun or silly. So get playful here in your exploration of the different movements. The left hand comes down to the mat, right arm up towards the sky and then over, opening up through the side body. And then switch. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up and then over. And then move between these two. So moving back and forth, keeping yourself firmly on the mat. So we're just moving from the waist up. And see where you want to maybe bounce a little bit in one place, or maybe you play with turning the chest down and up towards the sky. Just listening to your body here and what feels good today. So just focusing on opening up through the side body. Good. Come back to center. Bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe you need to rock a little here to find that comfortable seat again. Heels can be as close or as far away from the groin as is comfortable for your hips. Again, sitting up nice and tall here. And we're going to bring the shoulders up and then down. So moving them up, really exaggerating this movement, squeezing them up towards the ears and then really releasing. You might also add an inhale in through the nose and then sighing it out through the mouth. Just that audible reminder of releasing that tension. And then switch, bringing the shoulders forward. So they're up and down, but we're kind of coming forward here. So we're building some warmth, some heat here as we engage and release those muscles. Good. From here, inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips to come forward. Maybe you bring the fingers around your toes here. Maybe the hands come out in front of you. Maybe you send your elbows down towards your knees. Whatever feels comfortable for you, but you want to be hinging from the hips. So we're keeping the back straight. We're not rounding the back. So we're straight up here. We're just hinging at the hips. And then everyone bring the hands in front and kind of spider hands. We're going to walk them to one side and then the other. So back and forth here. Feeling into the low back. Sort of feeling this fluid movement. Come back to center. Sit up nice and tall. Bring the left foot in. Right leg comes out to wherever's comfortable. So it might be further in here or it might be out more. wherever your hips are right now, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to inhale that left arm up, and then we're hinging at the hips to come over into that side stretch. So the hand can be wherever is going to be helpful for you. So maybe it's behind the leg, maybe it's in front of the leg, maybe it's on the leg, maybe it's on the hip to remind you to keep the length there. Whatever's comfortable today. Release, both arms come up and then turn towards the knee to get a little twist here. So the second chakra is associated with the navel and this part of the body, so a lot of twists and fluid movements. Release, you can either come back into the side stretch here, or you can use the hands here to come up onto the leg and then down and bring the hand towards the foot. So we're moving the hand away, bringing it to the mat, the other arm comes up, and we just shift our hips forward, and then we sit back down and bring the arm over. So you can play with this movement here, finding this kind of graceful back and forth, or you can be in the stretch and join us again in a minute. So we're waking up that low back even more. So we will be adding in a few little back bends. It'll be good to have that open. One more. Good. Everyone release. Bring the right foot in, left leg out. Inhale, the right arm up. Exhale, stretch to the side. Again, the hand can be wherever is helpful for you, but keeping the length through the side body. Remembering to breathe, remembering to check in with how it's making you feel. Release, both arms come up, turn towards the knee, and twist. Being careful not to use the hand to pull, it's just here to support the twist. And then we're either coming back into the side stretch, or we're using the right hand to anchor down. Hips come forward, hips lower, hand comes across. So sometimes doing movements like this, we can feel silly, maybe we don't feel the most graceful, but it's really good to get the body moving in different directions and in different ways than it's used to. We're strengthening and lengthening these different muscles. One more time. And release. From here, we're coming to all fours. Knees underneath the hips. Wrists underneath the shoulders or a little bit in front of the shoulders. Inhale, heart shines forward. Exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, draw the navel in. Really making sure to press into the hands and the knees to have a nice even round in the back. So we're not over rounding the low back and neck, but instead getting a stretch through the thoracic spine as well. Release. Allow the hips to move side to side here. If you hear any popping, that's fine as long as it doesn't hurt. And then bump the hips to the left and look over towards the right toes. Come back to center, hips go to the right, look back at the left toes. Good, come back to center. Knees come wide as the yoga mat, toes come together, and we send the tailbone back to come into child's pose. If your head doesn't come to rest on the mat, you could put something, a block, a pillow, something here to support it. Also, it might be that the shoulders are just tight, so you can bring the elbows out wide and relax that way. But breathing here. Checking in with the breath, checking in with the body. Just acknowledging how you're feeling. Whether you want to be moving more or moving less, just noticing how you're responding to today's practice. There's no right or wrong, just noticing how you are feeling. Press back up onto the hands, knees come underneath. We're going to come back to our cat-cow here, but this time with a circular movement. So we're coming forward and then rounding back. So chest comes forward first, and then the hips lead us back. So a circular movement here, kind of snake-like. Just noticing what feels good here, where areas are tight. Opposite direction. Good, and then this time as you come forward, walk the hands forward and bring the elbows down to come to lay on the stomach. So elbows come underneath the shoulders. Wiggle so that you're nice and comfortable here. We're putting weight into the toes. The kneecaps are lifted off the mat slightly, and then we're putting weight into the pubic bone and maybe the hip bones. Look down at a spot in front of you, but a little bit in front of your hands. Don't try to crane the neck upward. And then pressing into those places as well as into the arms, I want you to draw the navel in towards the spine and then release. So this is a really small movement, but you're definitely going to feel it in the core. So you're drawing the navel in and then releasing. So for me, as I draw the navel in, it lifts my hip points off the mat. And then as I release, they come back. Couple more times, noticing how it feels to have the core engaged versus relaxed. One more time and hold. And release. Bringing the hands out to either side, we're going to lift up Be careful of the low back here, so you don't want to come up too far. If you find any pain at all, you want to come back down to where you don't feel pain. But lift up here, again, keeping stuff on the mat, and then just sway side to side. We're coming into our cobra and having a snake-like motion here. You might also play with coming down and up. So kind of like catching a wave, down and up. So this is a really nice strengthener for the low back. Release. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. And then either you're going to press back to all fours like we were before, or you're going to press up to a plank. So wherever you are, hold it here for a second, really engaging the core. If you are in plank, imagine your hip points moving towards your shoulders, dropping the hips down. And then everybody step the right foot forward. And then if your leg is up, if your left leg is up, drop that knee to come into low lunge. So hands can come wherever's comfortable for you. Maybe they're down on the mat. Maybe they're up on the leg. Maybe they're up towards the sky or on your hips. Wherever you are, breathing here. Trying to keep the hips level, facing the front of your mat. Good. Drop the left hand down. Right arm can either just walk out so that you have your hand on your hip here, or it can open all the way up. So getting a little bit of a back bend here. And regardless, we have a twist. So the hands down here, we're still twisting. Release. Either come back to all fours or come back to that plank. And switch. So left foot comes forward, drop that right knee down. Come up to wherever's comfortable. Hands resting wherever. Breathing here as we start to create more heat, finding more movement. Right hand comes down, left arm either up towards the sky or on your hip. Good. Release. Again, coming back to all fours or coming up to plank. And then everyone either push back or curl up to downward facing dog. So fingers are spread nice and wide, pressing into all of the fingers and pedaling the feet out. The most important thing is having the tailbone up towards the sky, not worrying about the heels touching the mat. You should almost feel like you're doing a handstand in the upper body. So we're really sending our energy up towards the sky, sending the tailbone up as high as we can. Good. Walk the feet in slightly. Everyone take the right foot up between the hands. So maybe you step it up, maybe you carry it up here, but bring it up between the hands. And then making sure to press into that back foot, so we're secure here, and then pressing into the front foot. Engage the core and come up. So we're in high lunge here. And then everyone's going to bring their hands together at heart center. And then turn towards the knee. So we're turning towards the bent knee. And then maybe we're bringing our elbow to the outside of the knee here and pressing up to get more of a twist. But regardless, our hands are like this, and we're starting to turn that direction. So maybe you're here today, or maybe you're coming down to use that elbow and twist a little bit more. So really pressing back through that back heel, engaging the core. And then release the hands down. Bring the foot back to meet the other and press back to downward facing dog. Pedaling it out here and noticing if the right leg feels any different than the left. Good. Bring the feet forward a little bit. Bring the left foot through. Coming up. That high lunge. Squaring the hips. If you feel off balance here, try bringing the legs a little wider, and it should feel more secure. Hands come together at heart center. Turn towards that knee, or turn towards that knee and bring the elbow down. Actively pressing through the heel. Good. Release the hands down. Bring the foot back. Press back to downward dog. Pedaling out the feet. So from here we have options. We can either just stay in downward dog here, or we can lift the right leg up, bend the knee, and open it out to the side here. So we've brought it up, bend the knee, open it out to the side. So our hands haven't moved at all. It's staying like this. And then release. If you did that, then bring the left leg up, bend the knee, and open the other direction. So this is building to something. Good. Release. Everybody's back in downward dog here. Walk the feet towards the hands. And we're in standing forward fold. Hands come to the feet. Knees can be bent here. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale down. And so we're going to find a little bit of a wave movement here. So we're inhaling, catching that wave up, and exhale down over the legs. So you can actually bring the arms up and down if you want to as well. But we're kind of coming up, engaging the core, coming down. Maybe we slide the hands up and down the legs. Or we bring the hands all the way up and all the way down, getting a full roll up here. Whatever's feeling good for you today. So be creative. Tap into that creativity. As long as you're firmly planted in the feet, you'll be okay. So we're coming all the way up and down. Coming halfway up and down. And then everyone relax over the legs. Maybe grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. Our hands are either down, swaying side to side. We're clasping opposite elbows. Good. Hands come down. Keeping the left foot where it is, step the right foot back. Toes come off at an angle here. And then come up to warrior one. Maybe you adjust the stance here, but keeping the hips moving towards the front of the mat. Feet are nice and wide, so we're not on a tightrope here. And then hands swim back behind you, and you lean over at an angle here. Come into humble warrior. So we're coming diagonally forward between our hips. Release the hands down to the mat. If you cannot reach the mat, step your feet a little bit wider here. And then we're going to turn so that both our feet are facing the side of the mat. And walk the hands side to side here. So we're now in wide leg forward fold. Doing a similar movement to what we did at the beginning of practice. Good. Walk the hands towards the right and turn that right foot. Maybe step the left foot out towards the side more. Hands come behind the back. And we're in humble warrior to the other side. Good. Turn towards the front of the mat, come up, and we're in warrior one. Hands come to the waist, straighten that front leg, turn the toes again so that we're facing the side of our mat. Inhale, standing up nice and tall. Exhale it out. Turn the left toes towards the front of the mat. Bend into that knee to come into warrior two. Arms come out to the side. Try to keep your weight right in the middle here. And inhale, arms come up, leg straightens. Exhale, knee bends, arms come out. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Come back up. Turn those toes towards the side. Right toes turn towards the back. Bending into that knee. Warrior two. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. So finding that movement, finding that flow, and moving with the breath. One more time. And release. Those toes stay facing out. Turn the left toes out as well. Bend the knees to come into goddess. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, elbows come down and back. Release. Heel toe the feet in towards each other. Turn to face the front of your mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, collapse over the legs. Hands come down to the mat. Step the feet back to come into plank before lowering down to the belly. Inhale, come up into cobra. Hands can be in or out to the side. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Curl the toes under. Press back either to all fours or straight to down dog. And we all meet in downward facing dog. Pedaling it out here. Good. From here, if you want to progress to the next thing, we're bringing the right foot up, opening the hip. As we open the hip, we're walking the hands to the side here, so they're kind of coming to compensate for our right foot being up. And then we're turning, like we did at the beginning, with our back and forth, to come into wild thing here. So I'm just reversing my dog. I'm bending my knee. We can start low here too. Bending my knee and bringing it over. And then pressing up. So definitely more complicated to get into it, but I'm mostly just doing a side plank. Let's say you could come in through your side plank. Easy enough. Good. Come back to down dog. If you're not doing this, you're just staying in down dog. Lift the left leg, bend the knee, bring the toes over, and opening up to wild thing. Again, you could come here from side plank. Good. Release. Everyone drop the knees down. Send the feet towards the side. Out in front of us. Knees bent. Send the tailbone towards the heels and come halfway down. And then even though we're not breathing like that, I want you to feel the navel coming in towards the spine here. We're allowing our back to round. And then maybe we release our hands from our knees. So you want to feel the core engage. It's almost like you're drawing your navel in towards your spine, but then kind of up towards your chest. So it's an in and up, kind of like an ice cream scoop is a good way to describe it. And you're coming down for when you feel that engagement. So if you don't feel it at all, come back a little further. And then we're going to bring the hands together here and move from side to side. So even though our feet are on the floor, you should definitely be feeling this in your core. If it starts to feel like the abs aren't engaged, again, remember to draw the navel in and up. A few more here. And then hands come in the middle. You can step the feet a little bit wider here. And then we're coming down and up. So hands are still the same. We're coming up between our knees. So as we come up, we exhale. As we come down, we breathe in. And so we have the hands like this. You could use them a different way, but we don't want to be pulling ourselves up. We want to be using our core and not our legs or our arms pulling on our neck. A few more here. And then roll all the way back. From here, inhale the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee and bring the heel across the other leg here. Maybe we draw the left heel in towards the body, whatever's comfortable for this hip here. Feeling the mat beneath you, supporting you. Noticing how you feel as we near the end of practice. Again, noticing if you feel energized or tired. Bring your hands down alongside you. Shift your hips towards the right. And then allow the right foot to fall down to the floor here. So we're getting a twist. If this twist doesn't feel good for you, just unwrap the leg and allow the legs to fall to the side normally. We're just getting a little bit more of a twist through the legs and hip as well. Arms can come out to the side or up into cactus shape, or can just be wherever's comfortable on the body. Good. Hands come back down. Move so your hips are centered on the mat. Right leg comes up and then releases. Left leg comes up and then across. Again, making sure the foot's all the way across the leg. And then maybe moving the right heel in. Noticing how this side feels in comparison. Using the hands, shift the hips to the side, and then allow the leg to fall over. Again, you can always uncross and come into twist that way. Hands come wherever is comfortable for you. Hands come down, hips come back towards the middle, left leg comes up and then down, heel toe, the feet out, and then allow the knees to fall to one side and then the other, just windshield wipering here to release the hips. And as you do that, you can move them down the mat to come so they're all the way stretched out. Bringing the arms up over the head, stretch as big as you can, toes pointing towards the bottom of the mat, fingers reaching towards the top of the mat, and then relax. Coming into Shavasana. Allowing the eyes to close. Body to relax. Maybe we snuggle the shoulder blades underneath the heart. Maybe the palms come face up. Toes fall towards the sides. Chin dips slightly, leaving enough room for an apple or an orange between the chest and the chin, but getting nice length through the back of the neck. And then And settle in here, thinking to yourself, I am creative, or I can go with the flow. Or I'm allowed to find pleasure in things. Or I'm allowed to practice self-care. Bringing an intention with you into our rest here. Drawing your attention back to it whenever your mind starts to wander to the noises around you or the things going on or the clock. Staying here for a few moments. And you'll hear my voice again in a couple of minutes. Start to draw your attention back to your breath. And we'll be ending with a guided meditation here, laying on our back.
I want you to draw your attention in towards your breath and listen to the sound of your breathing. Making it audible here, breathing in and out through the nose or in through the nose and out through the mouth. Finding a rhythmic pattern here. And as you continue to focus on the breath, I want you to imagine that as you breathe out, a wave is moving down your body towards your toes. And as you breathe in, the wave is coming back up towards your head. So we're breathing out, the wave moves away from us. As we breathe in, it moves up through our body. Again, moving with your audible breath. And as you're breathing and visualizing this, I want you to focus on what emotions come up. And try as you breathe to allow the negative emotions to go as the wave rolls out. And the positive emotions to flood in as the wave moves up. So I breathe in peace and relaxation. I breathe out worry and anxiety. I breathe in happiness and contentment. I breathe out tension, anger. Whatever it is for you, just focusing on drawing those positive emotions in and letting the negative emotions go. A few more breath cycles here. Slowly allow the breath to return to normal. Start to find some movement in the fingers and the toes. Maybe doing little circles with the wrists or allowing the feet to rock from side to side. Perhaps stretching up above your head again. Before bending the knees and turning onto our side. Taking a couple of breaths here. Before pushing ourselves up to a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall. Deep Inhale in through the nose. And sigh it out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. And one last time, in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Hands come together at heart center, noticing how you feel after today's practice. Dipping the chin towards the chest. Thank you for taking this time for yourself today. Thank you for taking this time with me. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.
If you would like to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribers allow me to continue to make this free content. If you haven't yet, also make sure to leave a like on this video, and I will see you next week. Namaste.